Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's start. 13 years ago, when I was 17, my father looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Get out of my house. You're not my daughter anymore." My name is Ayla, and I'm 30 now. If you stay with me until the end of this story, you'll understand why the next time we met was in a room full of strangers, under bright lights, with my name spoken into a microphone. And why not? One of them could look at me after that. If stories like this matter to you, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, or leave a comment so this reaches someone who needs it. I wasn't born unwanted. At least, I don't think so. But somewhere along the way, I became optional. My earliest memories are small things. The way my mother's face softened when my younger sister Lena entered a room. The way my father's voice dropped into something gentler when he spoke to her. Lena was 3 years younger than me, with wide eyes and a talent for sounding fragile even when she wasn't. I was the older one, the mature one, the one who should understand. Understanding became my job. When I was 8, I spilled a glass of juice on the living room carpet. It was an accident. My elbow clipped the table. My father shouted so loud my ears rang. That same week, Lena drew on the wall with permanent marker. My mother laughed and said she was just expressive. I remember standing there, staring at the stain on the carpet, thinking maybe I should have said it was my sister who did it. But I didn't. I never did. By 10, I had learned to move quietly through the house, to close doors softly, to speak only when spoken to. Praise was rationed, and I wasn't on the list. Lena, meanwhile, could cry on command. She learned early that tears were currency. In 5th grade, I won a regional science competition. I worked on that project for months, staying up late after Lena went to sleep, building circuits on my bedroom floor. When the school called my parents to tell them I'd won, my mother said, "That's nice," and asked if the ceremony would interfere with Lena's dance recital. They didn't come. Lena got flowers that night. I taped my certificate above my desk and told myself it didn't matter, but it did. The older we got, the worse it became. Lena started borrowing my things without asking. Clothes disappeared from my closet. Money vanished from my backpack. When I complained, my parents said I was forgetful, careless, dramatic. Once, I found my favorite sweater ruined, stained with something dark and sticky, shoved into the back of Lena's drawer. When I confronted her privately, she smiled. Not a big smile, just a slight curve of her lips. "No one believes you anyway," she said. That was the first time I realized she knew exactly what she was doing. The lies escalated slowly, like boiling water you don't notice until it burns you. A broken lamp she swore I knocked over. A teacher she told I'd said something cruel about her. Each time, my parents took her side without hesitation. I learned the pattern. Lena cried. My parents raged. And I apologized for things I didn't do just to keep the peace. By 16, I barely recognized myself. I doubted my own memory, my own intentions. I kept thinking, maybe I really am the problem. The final lie came during my senior year. There was a boy at school, Evan. We worked together on a group project. That was it. One afternoon, Lena borrowed my phone while hers was dead. I didn't think anything of it. That night, my father burst into my room, holding my phone like it was evidence from a crime scene. On the screen were screenshots, messages, explicit ones. Conversations that looked like they came from me, sent to Evan. Flirtatious, inappropriate. There was even a photo, my bedroom in the background, a body cropped just enough to imply it was me. I felt the room tilt. "I didn't send those," I said, my voice shaking. "I swear, someone edited them, Lena had my phone. Lena stood behind them, arms crossed, eyes red like she'd been crying for hours. She had a bruise on her wrist. Purple. Angry. She grabbed me, Lena whispered, when I tried to tell Mom. I remember the sound my mother made, like something breaking inside her. I remember my father's face going completely still. I begged. I explained. I showed them timestamps that didn't make sense. I asked them to call the school, to talk to Evan. My father told me to stop lying. My mother said she didn't recognize me anymore. The expulsion came that night. It was raining so hard the windows rattled. Thunder rolled overhead, close enough to feel. My father threw my backpack at my feet and told me to pack what I could carry. When I asked where I was supposed to go, he said, "Anywhere but here. You're sick, Ayla, and I don't want you poisoning this family." My mother stood in the doorway, silent. She wouldn't look at me. Lena watched from the stairs, her face calm, almost curious. I stepped outside into the storm with soaked sneakers, my backpack digging into my shoulders. The door closed behind me. The lock clicked. That sound stayed with me longer than the thunder. I walked. I don't know for how long. My phone was at 10%. I called friends. No answer. Relatives. Straight to voicemail. The rain soaked through my clothes, the cold creeping into my bones. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the phone. The last thing I remember is the headlights. I woke up in a hospital bed, my body aching like it had been shattered and glued back together wrong. A woman sat beside me, holding my hand like she'd known me forever. She introduced herself as Dr. Marianne Holt. She'd found me on the roadside after a car clipped me and didn't stop. She stayed. Through surgeries. Through nightmares. Through the social worker who came asking questions I was too tired to answer. When my parents arrived, Dr. Holt didn't leave the room. They tried to explain, to justify. My father talked about discipline. My mother cried. Dr. Holt listened, then quietly told them she'd heard everything. About the messages, the bruise, the storm, the expulsion. Authority stepped in. Papers were filed. Voices were raised. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening as my parents' certainty crumbled. I didn't go home. Dr. Holt became my guardian. She helped me apply for scholarships, transferred schools, rebuilt a life I didn't think I deserved. Years passed. I healed. Slowly. I learned what it felt like to be believed. The final time I saw them was at a medical conference. I was being introduced for an award. When my full name echoed through the room, I saw their faces change. Recognition. Shock. Shame. I didn't say a word to them. I didn't need to, because I had already become everything they said I never could. And I finally understood that family isn't who throws you into the storm, but who teaches you how to walk out of it whole.